What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 2, baby. so, um, I'm hoping that everybody enjoyed the first introduction official episode of PJ Talks. Episode 1. This is episode 2. Thank you for joining me again. And let's get into it, man. I'm sorry. My location is across the street from a bar, which, it is the weekend, so it's pretty active right now. So, without further ado, if you hear in the background a couple of misfits or delinquents out there, cheers. Then I would have to apologize in advance. Now, excuse me. What to do? Listen, you got a problem in society today where I don't know what sparked it or why we have this attack on men, right? It's not so much of it is an attack. I haven't experienced that kind of attack that you see on the internet. And like I was explaining in my last episode, the internet is a bubble. If you go into the internet constantly, you're always on there, you're constantly on the internet, then you're just gonna see all the shit of the internet. If that's what you're looking for, right? And YouTube's algorithm, just like Google and all that shit, once you start seeing 2-3 videos of shit, of just shit people and shit in the world, it'll feed you more and more of that shit, right? Like I think we all know this by now. Our phones are listening. I'm using my phone right now as a kind of like a lighting device. That's as ghetto rigged as it's gonna get. But I know it's weird, and it's but I did experience something on the other day where me and the guys, we were making jokes on each other, and for whatever reason that's not popular anymore. I don't know why. I honestly think that you need to, like, if you have sons, I have sons, I need to expose them to that level of criticism, I guess you could call it. Just basically guys giving each other the shit, right? Just talking shit about each other, or taking criticism, heavy constructive criticism, because that's exactly what it is. When guys rant on each other and just bust each other's balls, listen, there's nothing better than that to build character, right? And I know that we as parents, we try to look out for our kids. We want them to be or have things better than we ever did. Just like our parents before us, they wanted to give us everything they didn't. And I think now we are seeing a large majority of the people that had shit given to them because of their parents' struggle. They didn't want their kids to struggle. We see them with the level of privilege, right? It's crazy, but it's true. You got people joining little leagues of baseball or football where everybody gets the participation trophy, right? I know we all know the participation trophy, and that's exactly what's going on. That's exactly the problem. When you teach kids to be nice, right? You get a trophy just because you showed up. I'm not an expert. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a doctor, but I observe people. That's what I like to do. I like to sit back, and observe people. I watch people, I look at their behaviors, and based on what they've done in the past, I can kind of predict their movement, right? Now, I know what I just said sounds like some PhD level psychologist, but that's basically what it is. I don't need to go to a college to know how to do that. I've been doing it my whole life. I sit back and I watch it. Now, granted, I don't know the terminologies. I don't know what leads to what, right? I'm just telling you, as a person just sitting back watching people, I can kind of predict how people are going to act, say, or do, right? And so, going back to the kids, I have kids now. And when you incentivize, right, because that's what you're doing, you're incentivizing them at such a low level, they kind of stop. They don't push themselves or they don't aspire to get better. You know what I mean? Like, I try a lot of tricks with my kids, but I do not give them anything just because you woke up today. As much as I want to, don't get me wrong, as much as I want to give them the world just because I woke up and they woke up to me every day, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. Because then what kind of person are they gonna turn into, right? They're gonna turn into a whiny, crying little baby, where just because they showed up, they feel privileged that. Well, just because they showed up, they feel that they need the prize just for showing up, and that is privilege. And when you get older, you see people that were privileged growing up, right? Like, I was privileged, but I was privileged in a way where I had a mother that loved me, right? I had a mother to teach me right from wrong. I had a mother to tell me, get your ass up. I need you to go and do this for me. Run to the store, take out the garbage, right? It's one thing growing up. I know I said my last video, I said sorry to the mic. My daughter found it funny. I almost said it again. But when I was growing up, my mom, we would go to the stores and stuff, and she would make me and my brother, mostly me because I'm the oldest, but when she needed to find out something, instead of her just going to a person and asking them, what is this and where can I find it, or how much is it, she would make me and my brother go, or she would make me go, or if my brother was with her and I wasn't, she would make him go, or vice versa, taking turns, whatever you want to do. She used to send one of us. And I used to hate it. I remember I was like 14 years old. I was like, I don't want to go talk to that person, you know? And she would be like, tú eres hombrecito. Tú eres hombrecito. Tú tienes huevo. Tú eres hombrecito, right? You got to go learn how to do this stuff. You got to be a man. You got to learn how to be a man. And it's like, so I'll go and be like, excuse me. What? Excuse me, what? My mom needs help. What? My mom needs help, man. She's over there. She wants to know how much that is. Man. But that's how shy I was, man. I was very shy in middle school and kind of in the beginning of high school, right? Freshman all the way to sophomore year is when I started kind of being more comfortable. But I mean, sophomore year, yeah, I started being a little more comfortable and I was 14 years old. 14 going on 15, I think. And yeah, so my mom used to make me go out there and ask. You know, she was teaching me because coming from a Spanish household, we are taught that men do like the heavy lifting. We provide, we take out the garbage. Women take care of the house because that's the most important. Believe it or not, a lot of feminists, like the extreme feminists, right? Not the fair balance ones, but the extreme feminists. They kind of make it seem like staying at home, taking care of the house, like that shit is light work. Like, how dare you insult us by giving us the easy job? And it's like, as you get older and you have to do and take care of the house or your apartment, you see how that shit is not easy. So immediately, like when I look at those people, their argument goes to shit. It's like, man, you obviously never done that. But growing up, that's how it was. It was all about women take care of the house because it's the most important. It's the most important area in a man's life, right? Like a man in a relationship. That's the most important area, right? It's the house. Your woman takes care of the house because she holds it down at home. That's what you're taught growing up in a Spanish household, right? So so my mom would push us like that, and I did the dishes, right, growing up because I was the oldest. So I did the dishes not because it was like that's only for girls, but I did the dishes because I was the oldest, right? And as soon as my sisters got old enough, guess what? They did the dishes. But then I had to do all the other shit, like taking out the garbage, moving the garbage pails to the front, and raking the leaves or something or the other, like something like that. Winter, it snows. I would go outside. Me and my brother would go outside, shovel the driveway. Which I gotta say, man, I've never been one to shy away from hands-on job. I've always enjoyed hands-on job, and I don't know, maybe if that's why, but I always favor hands-on job. And ever, just being raised like that, when I was 15, 16 years old, moved to a nicer neighborhood, I would go out with a friend of mine and we would plow the driveways to make money, $20, $40 depending on the size. And so, that's that kind of attitude that you as a parent you want to instill in your children. And granted, it's not easy. If you can ask questions from your parents, ask. But a lot of the times when you see people who are privileged, that if they ask their parents, they're just gonna do the same thing all over again. And then you see those kids, spoiled little brats, throwing tantrums in stores. Throwing a tantrum in a store with my mom or my aunts, they would just give you the look, be like, "Mírame," which means "look at me," and that "Mírame" quote would be enough, where it would stop us on our tracks, and it's like, you really stepped in it now, bro. Don't go forward. Don't keep going. So it's so anyway. Going back to what I started with, society has made it seem that attacking men is the obvious choice, right? But I believe that we need strong men in society to keep society functioning, right? That's not a knock on anybody. This is just my opinions. If you don't like it, then I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? But this is how I feel. When you walk around, especially you see the guys with the colored hair and the t-shirts, say the future is woman. It's like, especially when Hillary was running in the campaigns. Excuse me. And you see that, and it's like, all right, your dad was either not around or away on business, and he just threw money at you. Throwing money at you to keep you busy, keep you happy, and out of his way, right? So you won't feel like he doesn't give you any attention. I get all that. But at the same time, your dad just, he has what's the word? Damn, I'm looking for a word, man. Like he's done this to society, right? He contributed. There you go. He contributed to the way society's breaking down right now. You got all these people. Oh shit, my hair's all messed up, bro. Sorry, I got out the shower. It's a little chilly now. I'm sweating up a storm in here. But yeah, those kind of guys, man. Their parents are the problem, and then if they have kids, they make the kids just as privileged as them. Which going on the privilege route, like I was always disturbed by that white privilege, quote unquote, narrative. For whatever reason, everybody started running with it. Freaking bug. Everybody started running with it, and I gotta say, man, it bothered me. It bothered me not because I care about other people's feelings, but like anybody who sees me, you're not gonna know I'm Puerto Rican. At least I wouldn't think I look Puerto Rican, right? I mean, I'm pretty light skinned. I mean, I may look Puerto Rican, but then my children, they definitely don't look Puerto Rican. They don't act Puerto Rican. They like the way I grew up. They're not growing up, right? Like they could care less about sneakers or what kind of fashion is in. They are just whatever, right? And growing up, we would look at kids like that, and it's like, well, that's like a white people thing, But it's not a white people. It's not just a white people thing. It's a. I mean, you can argue that if it's true. I don't think it's true but it's a culture thing. It's a culture of prioritizing what's really more important, right? Like those pair of Jordans where it costs like this much, or you could use that money and save it and get yourself the latest software or a gaming computer and stuff like that. And it's like, you really break it down. I break it down like that to my kids, and my son always picks, nah, I'd rather go for a gaming computer. Like sneakers it's whatever because I'm still growing. And it's like, okay, you're smart enough to make that kind of a decision. I like that, like he's only 8. He can talk to me like these big ass words, and it's like, nice, using expensive words. I get that. I enjoy it. But going back, I'm losing my train of thought. It's noise outside. It's crazy. I hope you guys can't hear it, because if you can hear it, then that means that this whole video has got to get edited or probably redone. I'm not in the mood for that. But yeah, like growing up, we were always grew up in the hood or whatever, or not the hood, but urban area, and it's like that was always kind of thrown in there, like, oh, that's a white thing, but it's not. It's a cultural thing, the cultural thing of prioritizing, right? Like I already said that, but that's the way that they're raised, and their skin complexion is completely lighter than mine, so they don't really look Spanish, right? So that was where my issue really started from. And then it also, when I start thinking about it, I have family members that are married into the family that are white, right? Or that are, Irish or Italian, considered white, but, not Spanish or not black. And so it really bothered me, because it was like, really? Like, we're going to use that term? Like, you guys got the same friends that I got that are white, and they're okay with you saying this? Like, and it really bothered me, because it's like you're cheapening the hard work that people gotta put through every single day. People gotta wake up, people gotta work, people gotta get up, you gotta hustle, and you're just gonna cheapen it by saying white privilege. My boy is as white as can be, and he's got it rough. Out of a lot of people that I know, he's got it the most rough. And if that's your argument, then where's his white privilege? Well, he forgot to pick it up at Walmart or some shit. You You gotta pick it up at the bank, or you gotta call Rockefeller up like, hello, yes, yes, sir. Come on. But but yeah, that's my whole idea with that. You know what I'm saying? So it really bothered me, and I just speak up against it. Like, you know, you always like it's the same thing. If I were to say like you got it this way because of your color, like the reason that you got in is because your color. I mean, and don't get me wrong, there's affirmative action laws, right? Even though you score low on a test, because you are a particular race, you get picked over a white person that did way better than you, right? And to me, I don't know about you, but I'm very prideful, right? I think a lot of Spanish people are very prideful. Puerto Ricans in particular, we're very prideful. Do we use certain narratives to our advantage? Everybody does, right? So if it's easier for us to, well, not me, because I'm not like that, but a lot of people, right? It doesn't mean just a particular set group, but people in general, if you put an easy way out for them, they will always, most likely, will always pick the easiest way out and not the struggle part, right? So the reason why I say Spanish people are very prideful is because you see that a lot growing up, especially from Spanish people. They really take pride in their hard work, physical labor, not taking any handouts and stuff like that, right? I could do this on my own, chill out, back up. I got this. Don't interfere, kind of stuff. Puerto Ricans in particular, growing up, I saw a lot of that. Like very proud, Puerto Rican people. Like oh no, people are always talking about how we're the laziest. Nah, forget all that. I'm about to show everybody what we about, right? So when that stuff really shows up, or they mention in a school how they're gonna be grading tests from Spanish or other minority groups with a curve, I immediately took offense. And I was in high school. I was in sophomore in my Italian class. We used to get the news every morning, and they made like it was like a big story or a big deal about a certain, I think it was the SATs that year, and they kind of focused on that story that year in the news that morning, and I was just like, I don't understand why does it, well, are we that much more stupid? Like, do we have a defect in our brain? And a lot of people don't see that. Like, a lot of people will be like, oh yeah, that's a good thing, so like that we can get out. No. I have a problem with that. I know that a lot of minorities they start at a lower level economically. I get that, right? But that doesn't mean that we need a curve. If we're smart enough to take the test, we're smart enough to learn it, we can study it, we can work hard and prioritize on that particular route, right? Like if you want to study to be the best, you study to be the best. What happens is that as we get older, our priorities start to shift, and it's because of mostly our environment and who we hang around and who we hang with, right? Like growing up, my mom always used to tell me, like, tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. I didn't really agree with her on that because a lot of my friends were way different from me, and I would never think that I was like them. Like I used to have a couple of troublemakers, but there was some times where I would get involved in some idiotic stuff at the moment, and it's like, all right, did I do that because I wanted to, or did I do that because I wanted to fit in, right? Like, is that me? Is that really who I am, or did I just do that to fit in the moment of the crowd, right? With my peers, my boys. You know what I'm saying? So all that stuff, as you get older and you have kids, you start thinking about everything. It's like kind of like, you know how they say when you like are in an accident, right? Like a near death accident, you see your life flash before your eyes. I gotta testify about that. That yeah, that is true. You start seeing every single moment in your life where you might have fucked up, where you might have regretted, where you could have made different decisions. If I would have went this, I would have went that, this and that. Like even not at the moment of the accident, but even years before. Like, oh, I should have done this. That probably would have happened. Your brain just, to be fair, just gets on fire, and it starts thinking of the most. Basically, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like you start clinging on to memories that you never thought would be your memories to cling on to, but for whatever reason you would revisit them at that moment. And also, you know, your loved ones, your closest loved ones, at the moment you start thinking about them. And for me, it was my son. He was basically like 6, 8 months old when I went down on my motorcycle. And it was tough because all I kept thinking about was him and his sisters, and what's gonna happen to them, how they're gonna get taken care of, and you know, blah blah blah, whatever. Ooh, excuse me. And not even taken care of, but like I didn't I didn't say goodbye the proper way. Like I want to see them one more time, kind of thing. But you know, um, I kind of lost where I was going with that. But you get the gist. Like you just start thinking about what happened. You know, what's the closest thing for you? And so, wow, yeah. I kind of lost my train of thought. We were talking about what were we talking about? This is why I gotta write shit down, bro. I gotta write shit down so like that I could just look and glance like, oh, okay, I see where I was going with that. But talk about testing and feeling like anyway, yeah. Just keep talking. This is what it's about, bro. This is like my therapy session. You guys are just enjoying the view. You know what I mean? But nah, but yeah. So let's go back to the testing real quick so I can regather my thoughts. So anyway, I took that as an offense. I take that as an offense. So whenever I go somewhere and it's like I hear that argument, it's like, nah, I'm good. I don't believe in that. I'm sorry. If that's what I wanted to do, I would 100% dedicate myself into doing that. So like that I can be the best. Like I have to be the best. And anything that I do, I try to be the best. Like I don't think like, well, this is as good as it's gonna get. So I'm not even gonna continue trying to practice or read up or whatever. You know, like I do very little reading now. I've been picking up more and more in the past couple years, but like reading a book every 2 months, every 2 months and a half is that's not really a good reading, right? So like I reread The Giver. The Giver for me was one of my not favorite, but it was like one of my first interesting books in high school where I was like, oh wow. Everybody read Romeo and Juliet in high school, and it was already kind of like oh, okay, that's a high school thing. That's a high school sweetheart kind of thing or whatever. I'm not into that. But The Giver for me was really impactful, right? But I'm a big movie buff, bro. Like I take a lot of my knowledge and a lot of my experiences, and I kind of just listen to people. Like I said in the last one, I like to sit back and just listen. I listen to a lot of people. I talk, but I have conversations with so many people I enjoy discourse, like obviously good discourse, respectful discourse. Because growing up in the town that I was growing up in, it was like it's an urban area, right? It was kind of like the hood, but that kind of stuff wasn't really done. You either agreed with people or you shut the fuck up. That's not because they didn't care about what you had to say, but a lot of times it would be unpopular and people would just look at you weird. What you talking about, bro? That shit is retarded. It's like, what are you doing? So, I try to I try to move forward and think about everything like that. So I gather all my knowledge from movies, books, and my experiences. Today was an interesting day though. For not the first time, but it's been a while since I walked into a store. Now, I got a medical condition, so I don't wear a mask. And I had somebody come up to me like, um, it's like, no, ma'am, I have a medical condition. And the look on her face, it was just like, oh, okay. And she just kept it moving. It's like, but the reason why I bring that up is because I saw a video today about a woman watching a baseball game outside, mind you. She's sitting away from everybody that's probably a stranger to her. But she's sitting with her mom and her kids watching the game. And a cop decides to come and tase her and arrest her because she didn't wear a mask outside. Bro, listen. There's so many things I have an issue with that. It's just, I understand if you feel a certain way and you want to wear it, that's fine. But if others feel a different way and they don't want to, why is it that they're looked at as criminals or bad people? When in reality, everybody should just be open and allowed to make their own decisions. Let them deal with it. If they catch something, they catch something. They're going to deal with it by themselves anyways. Or not with you. You're not going to go in there and help them out. So what is the difference? What is the deal? I never understand that. But then again, a lot of people got a lot of things to say. And then they just shut up. If you ask them, okay, so if that's how you feel, then help me out. It's like, no, I'm busy. I can't do that. Like, I'm just letting you know it's wrong. Like, okay, so then what's the solution? I don't know what's the solution. Just don't do it. And I was talking to a friend of mine, same guy that's not very political or whatever, and he was just like, it's like, oh, she made a big deal for no reason. She should have just put her mask on, and then the cop would have went away and put it back up. And it's like, no, man, but that's not. It's all about the principle of why she did it, right? It's the reason. The deeper reason is like, we live in America. America is free. Get out of my face. Like, I'm not assaulting anybody. I'm not cursing or pointing or death threats to anybody. Nothing. You want to come up to me and tell me to put a mask on, or I'm gonna get arrested and you tase me? Nah, man. Listen. Like I told him, right? America was born from the founding fathers. Well, basically everybody, but the founding fathers came, like George Washington was a general, kind of went on the front lines. Ooh, excuse me. They were considered the criminals from England, right? Because they didn't want to listen to one authoritarian figure all the way across the ocean talk about, you got to do what we tell you or else. They took okay, we'll take that or else. Thank you very much. And there you go. That's why the Constitution was written, Bill of Rights. It's to protect us because we are supposed to be the ones in charge, not the guys up top, right? Which should be taught in every school. Everybody should know this. This is the history of our country. Just like everybody wants to throw the stains of our country all over the place. Yeah, we have stains. But if it wasn't for that document called the Constitution, I believe it was Thomas Jefferson that was like, hey, listen, you guys are talking about free people, yet we ain't free. Thomas Jefferson, I think that's his name, right? No, Frederick Douglass, my bad. Frederick Douglass. I'm pretty sure it's Frederick Douglass. I could fact check myself, but I'm just gonna let this video roll through. If I'm wrong, let me know. But I believe it was Frederick Douglass, which, by the way, earlier in the months, a couple months ago, they tore his statue down because they said it was racist. I kid you not. So Frederick Douglass made everybody see how, yeah, you guys are following this document, but you're being hypocrites about it. And it made people think, oh shit, we gotta change this, right? So, and yesterday I was listening to some guy, and he was talking about Thomas Paine. Now, Thomas Paine is, I've heard that name before, but I don't know much about him. Supposedly, he didn't own any slaves, but he was basically the guy that the founding fathers aspired from, right? Like they took inspiration from him about free, not having slaves and becoming an independent nation, and basically being free people. Everybody free, equal under God. We're all equal. So those are kind of interesting things I'm into. Those are the kind of things I teach my kids, right? Like, every parent should always focus on teaching their kids the good values. That's the reason why religion, like, they're Christians. I'm Catholic, right? Like, well, I'm Catholic. My kid's mom is Christian. My daughters are Christian because that's how they were brought up. My sons are considered Christians as well now. But it's, to me, it's almost the same thing. It's just that, they see their things differently than me. But, we believe in Jesus and God, and religion is a big factor in helping kids develop and focus and aspiring to being good, like, reasonable, moral people because of the rules and the way Jesus was. It's a good figure to aspire to. I know I look like a retard doing this right now. It doesn't matter. It's the weekend. But yeah, so I know I started this segment with talking about attacking men has become like the new trend. And for a while there was a lot of focus on the female, like all the single mothers, woohoo, yeah, girl, go get it, you a hero, you a single mother, you raising your kids, you getting a job. Don't get me wrong, I was riding that wave too, man. Growing up, my mom was a single mom raising 4 kids. We went to school. We lived in a nice neighborhood. She was putting out to pay expensive rent so we wouldn't have to grow up where we basically were living. And I didn't have to go to a high school where Freshman Fridays was a really big and dangerous deal. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people know me. They're going to see this and they're going to be like, man, our school wasn't that bad. I get that. But I was a punk. I was a big punk back then. And I would have been running around scared. Like, I wouldn't know what to do. And my mom, I'm pretty sure she knew that. As much as I used to talk tough with her, like, oh, I would come home from school, like, yeah, I just accomplished some big thing, this and that. But I'm pretty sure she knew, like, I'm more of a lover than a fighter. So when it comes down to getting confrontational, she knows I wasn't that kind of kid. Now I get confrontational, but it's still not at a physical level. You know what I'm saying? If it gets to a physical level, then I'll get at it. I'm not gonna guarantee anybody any losses or any wins, but I'm not afraid to get at it anymore. You know what I'm saying? But that's through time. You get older, wiser, and less fear. Especially what I've been through. Like I'm not down. I'm not scared of anything. I'm just scared of what I'm gonna leave behind to my kids, or what kind of world I'm gonna be leaving them to if once I'm gone. That's probably my biggest fear. Not biggest fear, but it's a fear that constantly keeps coming back at me and keeps thinking. I keep thinking about it. But yeah, like, so I was riding that wave about single momhood and all that stuff, and single mothers can do, are powerful women. But then as the years went on, the girls that had babies, right? Basically, babies having babies, they started riding that wave, and it was like, no. You need to chill because you didn't earn that. And then all of a sudden, oh, you misogynist, you don't respect women, this and that, you don't think this and that. And it's like, no, I'm just letting you know that you can't take that title that came from people like my mom or your mom. You can't just take it just because you are a single mom. That's not how it works, sweetheart. You gotta really sacrifice, get working, sacrifice, and put everything up. Like, give everything up that you want to do. Because, in my opinion, once you have a kid, everything you ever wanted to do or aspired to do goes right out the fucking window. And you need to focus on your kid. Excuse me, damn. I gotta stop drinking wine. But, you know what I'm saying? So, a lot of these females, basically babies having babies, when I was 17, 18 years old, they were 16, 18, 19, having babies already. Right, that's another thing too. Trying to date girls that are in that mentality where it's like, like her cousin's like 18 years old and she's 19. She thinks that she's grown, even though you're the same age. She's a lot more mature than you. She only dates guys that are older than her, and it's like, Jesus, it's like that. Ask a lot of them now, how did that go? How'd that work out for you, sweetheart? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to judge, but I'm basically saying, like, how'd that work out? Because there's a lot of people that were like, I think like the first 2 years, it didn't work out. And this is just anecdotal evidence on my part. But I'm pretty sure there's a lot more out there that's like, how'd that work for you? Oh, shut the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not trying to make this sound like some dude that's hating on everything. Because I'm not. I'm just saying, like, when females hit a certain age and they started having kids, they immediately took the title of single motherhood, right? Powerful woman. Yeah, I'm a soldier. I can do this. I'm power. Like, I can grind. Yeah, I'm sure you can grind. But until you've done it in the same amount, not even the same amount, at least a fraction of the amount of time that your mom did it or my mom did it, you really can't claim that title yet. You know what I'm saying? So then it went from that, and all of a sudden, like, dudes that grew up without a father are now fathers, and they're in the home because of the fact that they don't want their kid to experience home without their dad. And to me, that's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? They got mom and dad. Or even if they're not together, you still got mom around and you got dad around. It's not just, even though you still did see a lot of having kids and then going out and prioritizing other stuff, right? That's how you get those females that haven't done it for as long as, like, or at least a fraction of what their mom or some people like my mom have done it, already claiming the title of single motherhood because they gotta take the bus to the welfare and fill out papers, and they gotta do everything and go to doctor's appointments and WIC and all that stuff. And so just because they're doing that, automatically they grab that title. Boom, that's me. Yeah. Granted, like I said, that could be you, but most of the time, some of y'all needed to wait a couple more years at least before, or at least done bigger sacrifices before you claim to be the powerful single mom. You know what I'm saying? But you did see a lot more of new fathers, sticking around. And I mean, like, sticking around, even if they weren't together with the mom, they were constantly around, picking up their kids, taking them out, teaching them to be respectful boys, right? Respectful men in general. Good, strong, respectful men are needed in society, right? You need men, especially now, my generation. We should be calling out the younger generation, like, hey, relax yourself, respect. What's the matter with you? Respect your elders, just like us. My generation, my people, my peers, my people my age, we used to get called out all the time by people older than us, in their 30s, in their 40s, like, hey, respect. What's the matter with you? You know, and then you had the people before them that wouldn't curse around females. You know, I feel ashamed when I'm around those guys, because I know a couple of those guys. And I feel ashamed because whenever we're talking, female walks in, they respect. Don't say that. Don't curse, this and that. You never curse in front of a woman. You know, and that's it's hard for me to do now because of growing up constantly just cursing and talk. You know, like, I got friends that are females and we just talk shit, right? So it's like normal. You know, we just talk shit, we shoot the shit. And I don't watch how I curse around them because we just talk shit. But I do feel this big when I'm around the older guys, like, nah, don't curse in front of a female, bro. It's disrespectful, don't do it. And it's like, I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't know what to say. You know, you feel so big, so little, but in a good way. You know, it's like, all right. And it inspires you. I'm gonna try to do this better. I'm gonna try not to curse. So I have daughters now, and when I try to make my point, if I get really aggravated or upset or excited about making a point, sometimes I'll slip in a curse, and it's like, shit. Like, I'll think about it afterwards, or in the moment I'll say, and I'll be like, you know what I mean. You know, they laugh because they know exactly what's going through my thought process. You know, I constantly say it. I say it to my boys, you gotta respect. You know, I'm teaching them, like, telling my boys to put the lid down, right? The first rim of the toilet when they use the bathroom after they're done has never been hard for me because my mom always used to tell me. But for whatever reason, I find it hard. I find it difficult because it was almost like I kind of expected my boys to do that. And then after a while, I started seeing them. Sorry about that. After a while, I kind of just saw them that they weren't doing it. It's like, yo, you got to put this seat down. You know? So that's why society needs good, strong men. But being a good, strong man, sometimes we like talking to other men a certain way, you know, not politically correct, to get them in shape. A lot of people be like, oh, that's not how you do it. Well, you know what, sometimes, but that helps. That's like, I think it has like a bigger percentage of helping than not helping. So you got that. And then you got Gillette trying to make us look bad because boys are wrestling. It's like, boys will be boys. Like, that's a bad thing. Yeah, no. Boys need to wrestle. Boys get physical with each other, right? Especially when it's like, oh, I want to do this. No, I want to do this. No. And they start wrestling. That's the way that they learn to kind of agree and disagree with each other, right? They kind of learn, kind of give and take at that age, but that's how they express themselves, right? Because they're young, they're boys, right? Grown ass men wrestling this and that. That has to be a level where people are trying to communicate verbally and it's not getting anywhere, and somebody gets disrespectful, then you're gonna have to throw down some hands with somebody just because they started talking shit and got disrespectful, right? So that's not bad. That's all good. That makes men better. That makes boys better, and it ultimately makes men better. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I'm not an expert in all these things. I just sit back and I observe people. I listen to a lot of people. I watch. I'm a big movie buff. I love the movies of The Predator, right, with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and this guy, Apollo Creed. I don't know his real name, Carl Weathers. And you know, and when they do their ultimate handshake, where it's like a show of strength between the two, and Arnold Schwarzenegger beats out Carl Weathers, and it's like, yeah, I'm in charge, bro. No matter how high up the ladder you may have gone in our society, right, or in our level of in our field, I should say, in our field of expertise, where it was like the military, I'm still the man. And once we're out there, I'm the man. I'm the one in charge. You answer to me. That scene is so cool just because it's like, come on. And, you know, it's just two guys kind of midair arm wrestling. That shit is awesome. You know, and I grew up on those movies, so maybe I have a bias on it. So what? Anyway, I think I've ranted it long enough. I hope you guys enjoy these. Like I said, this is a way for me to talk, right, and kind of my own therapy, getting my thoughts out there. I hope to get better at this. Kind of next time, I'm gonna bring a notepad. I'm gonna write shit down. It's like that. I don't lose my train of thought like I just did. And if you hear the background, the bar's getting lit. You know, that's a good thing. That's a bad thing, because now I'm gonna hear the cars as I go to bed. People screaming. Most likely fights will ensue. It'll be entertaining. Cop lights will plaster my ceiling, and it's gonna be a good time. Good night. So, but yeah, I appreciate you guys liking and subscribing and sharing my shit. Ultimately, like I said, I plan to do this on a daily basis. You know, I like putting my mind onto this. I'm learning. In the future, talk about something I'm gonna see, because I'm learning how to work this software, so I can look shit up, show you guys what I'm looking at, and then bring back the camera to me. I was learning before. I kind of know how to do once or twice, so expect more of that. And yeah, so if you guys really enjoy this, let me know. Hit subscribe, like, share it, so like that I can get more views on this. And yeah, maybe I'll be able to move to the middle of nowhere and make more of these and get my kids a farm like they want, you know. So I mean, it's only possible if you guys make it possible. I'm just saying, like, come on, help a nigga out, you know what I'm saying? All right. Anyway.